One, I just want to put out just a really fast video. I might explain it better and do a better one later. The Bible. You know, I've studied the Bible for years. I went round and round with the written letter. But I also heard the calling. I heard the Spirit through that letter. That's what drew me in. And then for years and years, you know, that's how you lose it, because what you're receiving in spirit, once you hear, the letters are confusing you because you're receiving this. You're receiving that the Son's here with you, you know, that he was given, and then and much more other things, you know. But it's telling you, no, this has to happen, this has to happen, all these things. It has to be this way. So, I mean, it causes you confusion. Then you hear man telling you that you're deceived. So you think, oh, well, maybe this, you know, that calling I heard wasn't even true. You know, it's just a total, it's when the trial begins, when you hear the calling and the letters get in the way of what the Spirit is showing you. You know, but you hold on because you believed that word. You believed what you heard. And you think, you know, and those who are, you know, faithful, they will hold on to that promise they heard. And I'm just going to make this really short. And now, you know, now you've been, you know, through these years. You've went through life. You've went through different, and, you know, this has been a 3-year process now since understanding was slowly. And it was when you start accepting it, because all you went through, and you see, and now you've seen what man is. You've seen what they do in the churches. You see, and so you're ready to receive. Now you're like, this makes sense. Now you're ready to hear what the Spirit says, and accept it. And when you do come to accept that truth, scripture by scripture, that the Spirit reveals, it consumes that carnal understanding. You know, and then I was led to, you know, go deep, when Scripture started opening, then I went back, and I was led to the Greek. Then I went back, because first it was just a word here or there that would make a Scripture make so much sense. Seeing it rightly, you know, in the Spirit. It was a Spirit testimony. Everything, it was all a Spirit testimony. It was a prophecy, a foretelling of Spirit. And then, you know, I was led, you know, first it was just a word here or there, and then I started pinpointing certain scriptures that really threw me off. Because, you know, back in the beginning when the Spirit, you know, revealed to me and revealed the Christ of heart, even then, you know, then I'd start going to these and I'd read them in the Greek, how it had been written. Had it been written like that, I would have never been confused. Then I realized it was the corruption in the man's letter. And it's not so much what, and now I was just watching, Ambrose had said something, and I'm just not, you know, I'm letting the Spirit lead me into what I say. You know, I'm not going to put a lot of effort into, you know, because there's so much when you watch YouTube, then you go this way, and you want to say so much. You just have to let the Spirit flow. But, as He will. Where was I? Okay, so Ambrose had said something, and then my new brother and I, forgive me, right now, I haven't even had but 1 cup of coffee, and my brain's not all here, but he was, I think he had said something about the scripture always true, and he's, you know, been agreeing with, you know, my videos and stuff, but I just don't want people to think wrongly. Now I understand it was what it was. The corruption came from carnal minds. It was a Spirit testimony. And even in the scripture itself says you can't bear it now. You know, you wasn't ready. You could not carry it now. But it was, and I will go perhaps and make a, you know, more precise video on it with scriptures. But it was a spirit testimony. And at first it had been written correctly. I firmly believe it was written correctly. Those translating it already had carnal, they already had, because they had already, if they're going to kill one man for the words of his mouth, they're going to go and kill everyone, to try to stifle that learning, that teaching. So by the time they had translated, it was carnal. It was already carnal. They'd already been indoctrinated with certain ways of thinking, carnal understanding of spiritual things. And that's how the book was written. That's why when we first heard, when we first opened the book and heard that spirit within, that's the calling, the letters got in the way. Because it was always a spiritual testimony. But they carnally translated with, they made spiritual things into carnal ideas and happenings. And so now, the spirit that is this consuming from myself and others out there, is consuming the carnal that was never meant to be understood in the carnal. And now, those, so it's not so much that it turned it into a lie, because these things was never carnal. That's what made it into a lie, because it was carnal understanding. And these things was never so in the natural. It was spirit. And that's why, by the power of God, by His Spirit, that we are able to receive, and that carnal's been consumed, and we see the pure testimony that was always spirit. The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. The testimony itself is spirit. I hope that made sense. I know I was just hurrying. I got some things to do, and I do want to try to put out another video, maybe even go further into this, make myself more clear. So it was turning spiritual things into carnal understanding. And now that carnal has been 2,000 years, however long. Actually, from that voice that I heard, it was 1600. I think that has part to do, when I heard, did ye not know that only 1,600 years ago, the written language was thought to be impossible? So, what happened 1,600 years ago? Is that when the carnal translations began? I don't know. I haven't studied into where, But, see, now, that carnal has blocked us. And it's the same thing that blocked them then. They thought it's all, everything has been written. Everything that is in the testimony is happening today. The same reason that people cannot accept Christ is they're carnal. It's false understanding. It's putting things that are spiritual into carnal. And the spirit cannot be contained in carnal. I have so much more to say. I hope, and now with that carnal purge, that's what those out there, there's, and I know the Father will work a great work. And He is working a great work. But the more and more the truth is spoken, we have nothing blocking now. We understand that's why those who still have the carnal, they won't even try. They'll turn it and twist it, because you haven't allowed the carnal to be consumed. Our God is spirit. The testimony was spirit. I know what I say is true. I've waited. I did not want to tell a lie. I went through the confusion. I know what's written in the letter. And now I know what's written beneath the letter. And that's why all the many prophecies is being fulfilled today. that promise to write upon our hearts and minds, it is being fulfilled today. That word that they will hate you, but if they keep my word, it was spirit. The book itself tells you, and people will not even, will refuse to hear. You know, put those carnal ideas back into the spirit where they belong. That carnal, it has made it enmity. You know, and I don't know that the Father didn't plan it this way. There's certain things I don't understand whys of some things. But it is we are being separated today. Who was carnal, who was spirit? It's all the same testimony, just how it's being heard and how it's being written. If you're hearing rightly, He's writing it upon your heart and mind today. And that carnal blocks man from knowing, from learning, how wonderful our Father is and all that He's truly done and is doing now. You can't see it. But His word and His love will grow. It is growing. I love you all. Maybe especially those who are far out of the way. Father bless you.